on the show, we're going to be breaking down the chart action for Inphi, Baozun, and Adobe. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. It's Alyssa Corum here with Ed Carson, and with the China trade truce, we did see big gains across the board today, although in the afternoon, we did come down quite a bit, but we're able to rebound into the close. The S&P 500 closed up about 0.7%, while the Dow finished up 0.4%, and the NASDAQ up almost 1%. So a relatively strong day with this news out over the weekend.
Yeah, we had a China trade truce. So President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, they met and they agreed on a truce, and they restarted trade talks in part because Trump agreed to ease the ban on Huawei, this China telecom giant. That's really big news for a lot of chip stocks, a lot of fiber optical plays. So that's why that sector did well, and a lot of China-listed stocks, because maybe they need some help in that economy over there. They're under a lot of pressure. So those were the sectors that did well.
All right, well, a positive improvement on the trade war front. And let's take a look at a few individual names. First on the list is Inphi, which actually Huawei accounted for 14% of Inphi's revenue in 2018. So clearly a beneficiary of the news here, and a big move today, breaking out of a base to highs.
Yeah, I mean, it was. This is a stock that is sort of in the optical sector, and so some chips and opticals were really a sweet spot that did well today. As you say, it actually had warned on Huawei back in late May after the ban came in. So this was one that had really said it was really trouble, but the stock had bounced back on some hopes that it would come in. There's really two buy points here. It's like if you look on this, this is a daily chart. The buy point is 50.58 because there's a handle there. It doesn't really show up on a weekly, so that one also is 51.93. Either way, the stock is broken out. Strong volume is nice action. I guess with the latter buy point, it's probably still in range, so I guess that matters from that perspective. But you could probably buy it either way. It's looking pretty strong here. It's our IBD stock of the day. So this is why we try to focus on companies that are doing really well. It's something that investors would be interested in.
That's right, and you mentioned the handle here. We like to see handles when they form on bases, but that handle is even more convincing when you're also seeing it on a weekly chart. So we do also like to look on a weekly chart. But as you mentioned, either way, it's a breakout here. The stock gained about 7% today in heavy volume. That relative strength line looks like it is at or near a new high there, and it's really been spiking higher in recent weeks.
Yeah, and it basically closed at highs where a lot of other stocks came off their highs. This one did very well.
All right, well, on the China side of things, let's take a look at Baozun. Ticker there is BZUN. Also a breakout here from a handle buy point. That stock gained about 7.5% today in heavy turnover. And it looks like maybe this is some sort of, bottoming type base here, because it's still well off of its highs.
Yeah, I mean, it had enough of an uptrend that we say it's okay to be buying it, but there is probably some resistance. It's part of a broader consolidation that you can't even see here, going back quite a ways, but it's clearing this consolidation. It tried to break out about a week or so ago. That sort of failed. It went down 7 or 8% below the original buy point. Today, it's clearing that area. This was actually Friday's stock of the day, so because we were paying attention, this was looking strong then.
Yeah.
But we didn't really know. I mean, obviously, if there hadn't been very good China trade news, this probably would not be breaking out. Neither would have Inphi. So this was nice action today.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it goes to show you, A, you should be paying attention to the stock of the day column, and B, if you have stocks on your radar that maybe there's a potential catalyst coming up. It's always good to have it on your watch list, so that way you can be ready to strike if and when the time comes.
That's a great point.
And Adobe is also on our list today. It showed strong action here with a gain of about 2% today, back in buy range after falling quite a bit last week, but it's recovered some.
Yeah, I mean, it's we talked a lot about chips and China stocks. They definitely led. There were some software names that did quite well. Actually, the software ETF IGV did quite well, but a lot of that's because of Adobe and Microsoft. Adobe, had broken out on earnings, then came back down. It did creep back into buy range. It's still in buy range today, so it was nice action here. Adobe, some other stocks like ServiceNow. Software did relatively well, even though you'd say, well, they're not really connected to China. So it was nice to see some other growth stocks doing well, not just a couple of specific sectors.
All right. Well, now that we do know that there's somewhat of a trade war truce, we still don't have really a timeline for an actual complete resolution yet.
Yeah, that's a question. I mean, it was nice to see this truce, but it's sort of like, do you really have a path to a deal? There wasn't really a lot of evidence that China was going to come back to the old deal that, because U.S. set Trump, they set new tariffs because, they said China was walking back provisions, but it isn't clear that they are going back to that. Well, where are we moving forward? Will Trump provide new concessions? Will China? So we could be right back at this situation again, so just keep that in mind.
Exactly. When you are looking at some of these names that are benefiting this week, well, just be prepared when the next headline comes out, either which way.
Yeah.
Ready to act. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday. And remember, you can always check out investors.com for the stock of the day and all of our other timely stock market news and analysis. And our content is also all across social media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. So follow and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.